All right, let's get right into it. We've all been sold this idea, right? That the secret to success is just more. More hours, more grinding, more pushing through the pain. But what if I told you that's not just inefficient, it's flat out wrong? What if the real key to learning faster and actually feeling good about your work isn't about studying longer, but studying way, way smarter?
I want you to let that sink in for a second. If you've ever had one of those days, you know the one, where you're at your desk for what feels like an eternity, only to end up more stressed and further behind than when you started. Listen up. That feeling isn't your fault. It's not a sign of weakness or a lack of discipline. It just means you've been using the wrong playbook.
And this right here, this is the big lie. It's this trap we all fall into, where we measure our day by hours in the chair instead of by what we actually get done. We think that just because we're there, we're being productive. But our brains don't work like that. And this leads to something we can call fake work. You know, when you're staring at the page, but nothing's going in. It's the illusion of effort. So let's be totally honest with ourselves. What does one of those marathon 8-hour slogs really look like? Are you a laser-focused genius from minute 1 to minute 480? Yeah, I didn't think so. Here's how it usually goes down. You start strong, right? You're in the zone. But then, pretty quickly, that focus starts to fade. And here's the scary part. It doesn't just fade, it completely collapses, often without you even realizing it. You're still there, your eyes are still scanning the words, you might even be highlighting stuff, but your brain has packed its bags and gone on vacation. And this is why, at the end of that long day, you feel absolutely wiped out, but you have zero confidence in what you just learned. You put in the time, for sure, but you got almost none of the reward. And let me say this again because it's important. This is not you being lazy. This is you fighting a battle against your own biology, a battle you're going to lose every time. So let's talk about that biology. See, the problem isn't your work ethic. The problem is that nobody ever gave you the owner's manual for your own brain. There's a hidden clock in there, a science to how we focus, and once you get it, everything changes. So it turns out your brain works in these natural cycles, these waves of high energy and focus followed by waves of low energy. Now, there's a fancy scientific name for it, the ultradian rhythm, but you can totally forget that name. What you absolutely cannot forget is the time limit it puts on you. And that limit, for pretty much all of us, is about 90 minutes. That's it. That's the magic number. After about an hour and a half of genuine deep concentration, your brain's performance doesn't just dip a little, it falls right off a cliff. Think of it this way. Trying to push past that 90-minute mark is like putting the pedal to the metal and keeping your car's engine screaming in the red zone. Sure, it feels like you're going all out, but all you're really doing is burning out the engine. More hours of that doesn't mean more learning. It just means more brain fog and more fatigue. Which brings us, finally, to the solution. It's simple, it's elegant, and it's called the 90-minute rule. The whole idea is to stop fighting your brain's natural rhythm and start working with it. Instead of one long, miserable marathon, you do a few short, powerful sprints. Now, for this to work, the rules are simple, but they are not suggestions. Each 90-minute block has one clear goal. You're working on one subject. Your phone is off, not on silent, but off. No multitasking. And this is the most important one. You stop after 90 minutes, no exceptions, even if you're in the flow. Stopping is the key to preserving your energy for the next round. Okay, so let's get practical. What does one of these perfect 90-minute blocks actually look like? Well, it's not just about hitting start on a timer. There's a simple 3-part structure that makes all the difference for actually remembering what you study. Here's the recipe. The first 5 minutes, you define a very specific, crystal clear goal. Something like, I will master the first 3 concepts of chapter 2. Then you dive in for 80 minutes of pure, heads down, no distractions work. But the last 5 minutes? That's the secret weapon. You stop and do a quick recap. Just review what you did. This little step is what cements the information in your brain, and it's the part almost everybody skips. So let's put it to the test. Let's really see the power of focus time versus what I call tired time. We're going to compare 2 students to show you once and for all why 3 sharp focused blocks will destroy 8 dull, distracted hours every single time. And boom! Look at this. It says it all. Student A grinds it out for 8 long hours. Student B does just 3 focused 90-minute blocks. That's only 4.5 hours of total work. But check out the results. Student B walks away with way more clarity and way more confidence. So how is that even possible? Well, here's the core idea. Focus time compounds on itself. Each quality block makes the next one even better. Tired time, on the other hand, does the opposite. It actually cancels itself out. The sloppy, exhausted work you do in hour 8 actively undoes the good work you did in hour 1. It's why the most productive people seem so relaxed. They're not doing more, they're just wasting way less energy.
Now, here's where people get greedy and mess the whole system up. Remember, you are training your brain like an athlete, not punishing it. On a normal day, 3 solid blocks is the sweet spot. If you're having a rough day, maybe just aim for 2. And only during finals week should you even think about pushing it to 4. Anything more is a recipe for burnout. Consistency will always beat intensity. So please, avoid these classic mistakes. Don't drift into a block without a specific goal. Don't you dare touch your phone for a quick check. And do not try to stretch one 90-minute block into a 120-minute block. The real discipline here isn't forcing yourself to work longer. The real discipline is having the strength to stop.
All right, enough theory. Let's make this real. Here is your very first, very simple action step to put all of this into practice literally tomorrow. That's it. 1. Tomorrow, your mission is to do just one perfect 90-minute block. Not 2, not 3, just 1. Define your goal, turn off all distractions, do the deep work, and remember that 5-minute recap at the end. That's the entire assignment. And a quick heads up, when you do this, it might feel a little weird. It might even feel kind of hard. Good. That discomfort you feel, that's the feeling of your brain actually engaging in deep work. Maybe for the first time in a long time. It means it's working.
So let's stop wearing busy and exhausted as badges of honor and start respecting how our brains are actually built to work. The real question isn't about how many hours you can survive at a desk. It's about how much you can truly accomplish when your mind is at its best.